The Denver Broncos are stepping into 2025 with a new energy that feels impossible to ignore. This is not the same roster that stumbled through the last few years. This is a team that just rebuilt its identity from the ground up, and the changes are already shaking the league. A quarterback room with clarity, an offense that finally looks balanced, and a defense with more depth than ever before. Nobody expected the Broncos to look this sharp this early, but the momentum is real, and the question is how far it will take them. Sean Payton has quietly crafted an offense that looks nothing like the one fans were used to. Bo Nix has taken command of the huddle with calm control, releasing the ball on time and setting the rhythm. Courtland Sutton remains the go-to presence, but he is no longer carrying the passing game alone. Marvin Mims stretches defenses, Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant bring fresh speed, and Evan Engram gives Payton the exact weapon he wanted in the Joker role. Add in J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey pounding the ball on the ground, and suddenly the Broncos' offense is unpredictable from every angle. But here is the twist that makes this story even more dangerous. Denver's offense does not need a superstar label at every spot, because the system is built on roles, matchups, and rotation. Every week a different weapon can take over. One Sunday it might be Sutton in the slot, the next it could be Franklin torching a corner, or Engram dragging linebackers into the wrong space. That flexibility means defenses cannot plan for one player, they have to prepare for all of them. And that sets up the real heart of this story, because a confident quarterback is only part of the equation. What happens when that offensive spark meets the tests waiting in the first 3 weeks? But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Broncos and all the NFL content. Can we get 350 likes on this video? The Denver Broncos just handed the offense to a calm field general, and everything clicks faster. Bo Nix takes the snap, reads the safeties, and kills bad looks before they breathe. The ball leaves on time, routes hit their marks, and the pocket feels organized instead of chaotic. Nobody expected this level of command so early in the year, but the rhythm is there, the cadence is sharp, and the unit finally plays on its front foot. Here is what changes the math. Sean Payton leans into motion to force coverage, tells, shifts to create free releases, and quick tempo to trap defenses in the wrong call. Courtland Sutton owns the catch point on isolations. Marvin Mims stretches the roof so safeties back off, and Troy Franklin steals grass with clean breaks. Pat Bryant gives the intermediate game a steady drumbeat, while Evan Engram reads leverage and wins on choice routes. J.K. Dobbins sets a hard tone between the tackles. R.J. Harvey sparks the perimeter, and the screen game ties it all together so linebackers hesitate. But there is a twist coming that will test all of this on snap 1 of the season. A first-time starter is set to walk into Mile High where the air is thin and the noise swallows calls. If Denver's timing holds under that pressure, the league will notice. If it wobbles, the next 3 weeks get complicated fast. So let's face the first hurdle and the hidden edge that comes with it. The Denver Broncos catch a quiet break right out of the gate, and almost nobody is saying it out loud. A quarterback is set to take his first NFL snaps in Denver, with the city roaring and the air thinning by the minute. That is not a knock on his talent. It is the reality of a debut in a place that punishes hesitation and rewards discipline. Here is where the game tilts. Silent counts invite early jumps, long huddles drain legs. One late motion can force a rush check and a throw that arrives half a beat behind. If Denver keeps the rush lanes clean and keeps the picture muddy after the snap, a promising young passer will be asked to solve more than one problem at once. That is when mistakes show up in field position, not just on the stat line. But the real reason this moment matters is what sits behind it. Denver has a defense that communicates without panic and disguises without tells. The group has played together long enough to move like one unit, and it just added fresh speed in key spots. So the question becomes simple. Can that chemistry squeeze a first-time starter before he settles in? To answer that, we need to look at the depth and continuity that make this unit dangerous every single series. The Denver Broncos built a defense that speaks in one voice. In the third year with Vance Joseph, the checks hit fast, the disguises hold until the snap, and the rush and coverage move together. Patrick Surtain II erases space, Riley Moss mirrors releases, Jaquan McMillian shuts down the slot, while Jahdae Barron and Chris Abrams drain bring fresh urgency at corner. Talanoa Hufanga pairs with Brandon Jones for range and strike, with P.J. Locke, J.L. Skinner, and Devin Key giving real depth so nothing breaks when the game turns chaotic. Up front, the plan is simple and mean. Zach Allen wins with hands and leverage, DJ Jones controls the middle, and Malcolm Roach cleans the trash so second and long keeps showing up. Jonathan Cooper bends through the arc, Nick Bonito closes from the backside, and rookies Jonah Ellis and Q Robinson add a burst that changes the math on third down. Stunts and simulated pressure force hurried eyes. Then the secondary takes the gift with tight windows and clean tackles. That is how hidden yards turn into real points without a single highlight grab. Here is why it matters now. Week 1 is about poise, but Week 2 is about solving a different puzzle in a loud stadium on the road. A veteran starter waits in Indianapolis with timing routes that punish late rotations. If Denver carries this discipline into that matchup, the early surge becomes more than a mood. So let us turn to the next reveal, and the decision under center that shapes the second Sunday. The Denver Broncos walk into Week 2 with a twist that changes the feel of the matchup. Daniel Jones is set to start for the Colts, which means Denver faces a veteran who has seen every coverage and every blitz picture. That choice brings stability for Indianapolis, but it also gives Denver a clear read on cadence, pocket habits, and where the ball tends to go when the first look is covered. Here is how Denver can lean into that edge without forcing it. Patrick Surtain II can track Michael Pittman Jr. on the key downs, while the other corners squeeze throwing lanes from the snap. The rush does not need wild pressure to win. It needs discipline that compresses space and forces a step late on timing routes. Simulated heat on one side, a twist inside, then rally and tackle, so yards after the catch never become a problem. One takeaway in the red zone flips this kind of road game, and the roster is built to create that moment. The real tension is what waits right after this test. Los Angeles has an elite passer and a line that just changed its shape, and that creates a very different kind of chessboard for Denver's front. If the Broncos handle the Colts with smart coverage and patient rush, they roll straight into a trench battle that could swing the early record. Now it is time to pull back the curtain on that third dose of good news and why it might tilt a divisional game. The Denver Broncos step into a divisional game that just changed shape in the trenches. Los Angeles is adjusting on the blind side with Rashawn Slater sidelined, second-year tackle Joe Alt moving to left tackle where he logged years of work at Notre Dame, and Trey Pipkins taking the right edge. Justin Herbert is still a top-tier distributor, and Jim Harbaugh brings clear structure, but a fresh alignment at tackle always tests timing and protection rules when the speed turns up. Here is where Denver can press without getting reckless. Nick Bonito threatens the outside hip, Jonathan Cooper converts speed to power, and Jonah Ellis adds a quick first step that forces depth in the pocket. Inside, Zach Allen and DJ Jones work games that squeeze Herbert toward help, while Malcolm Roach cleans up when the launch point shifts. If the coverage holds its shape for one extra heartbeat and hands stay active in the passing lanes, throw locations shrink and sacks are not required to win downs. The key is discipline on rush lanes so Herbert cannot climb and reset clean. Now the tension rises. To turn this matchup tilt into real wins, Denver needs the right bodies active and the right roles defined when rosters lock. Depth at edge, interior rotation, a steady fullback option, and a flexible tight end room all change how September feels. So, the next step is simple. Who makes the cut? Who elevates on game day? And how does that foundation support a fast start? The Denver Broncos know that final cuts do more than set names on a sheet. They decide who covers kicks in the fourth quarter, who closes a 2-minute drive, and who keeps the call sheet wide open when a starter needs a breather. Special teams core players earn trust here, because field position and hidden yards tilt close games in September. Depth is not a slogan for this staff. It is a plan for how to survive 3 very different matchups to open the year. The blueprint is simple and smart. 2 quarterbacks for clarity and flexibility, 4 running backs so the run game never stalls, 6 receivers to keep speed fresh, 3 tight ends with a fullback to unlock heavy looks in motion, 9 on the offensive line for protection and versatility. On defense, the symmetry matters. 6 along the interior, 5 off the edge, 4 inside linebackers, 5 corners, 5 safeties. Vested veterans can circle through the practice squad and step up on game day, and young reserves gain real roles through weekly elevations. That churn keeps bodies fresh without shrinking the playbook. All of it points to one question that matters more than any depth chart. Can this foundation turn early advantages into real wins when the whistle blows? The answer lives in details that decide tight finishes. Red zone choices. Third down answers. 2-minute composure. If those pieces line up, a fast start moves from hope to proof. Now the question shifts to you. Do you believe this roster can punch out wins in all 3 openers? Which matchup feels like the true pivot point, the rookie debut in Denver, the Colts veteran starter at home, or the trench battle against the Chargers? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us what you think the Broncos' record will be after Week 3.